There's the real thing.
I'm walking the tightrope. I'm sad and I'm lonely. Oh, but I'm taking the high road, baby.
And then there are imitations.
I'm walking the tightrope. I'm sad and I'm lonely. But I'm taking the high road, baby. Yes.
Loser. At the Beyond FM STL Showcase, we only bring you the originals, starring the 45. Modern Angst. Inner Outlines.
Don't send me a miracle. I don't deserve it if it's all my fault that I'm feeling miserable.
Saturday, April 8th at the Blueberry Hill Duck Room. It's the Beyond FM STL Showcase with the 45, Modern Angst, and Inner Outlines. This is an all-ages show and tickets are just $10. It's the Beyond FM STL Showcase. Saturday, April 8th at the Duck Room. Brought to you by Beyond FM.
Baby! Yes!
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another brand new episode. Today I'm excited to welcome to the show singer-songwriter Chris Zumwalt. Chris stops by to tell me a little bit more about his story, and we play some live acoustic on the show and just had a lot of fun getting to know each other, catching up, and hope you enjoy it. I do want to remind you, as always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri, serving up all your craft beer needs. With over 25 rotating taps out there, they've sure to got a tasty beverage just right for you. Also, a full menu of tasty food, all kinds of delicious eats out there. You got your burgers and nachos and flatbread pizzas and salads and pretzels, and they've been doing fish fry Fridays all through Lent. So if you want to come out and grab a beverage and some fish, come on by. And they got some great live music happening. On Thursdays, they've been doing a Singo Bingo night, and Thursday, March 23rd, will be Golden Oldies. And Friday, March 24th, Lauren Hoffman takes the stage. Saturday, March 25th, my buddy Denver Wade Trent returns. Full beer menu, food menu, and concert calendar at friendshipbrewingcompany.com. And be on the lookout. 2 new locations opening very soon in the Flint Hill, Missouri and Hannibal, Missouri area. So stay tuned for more info about that. Again, friendshipbrewingcompany.com. Follow along with them on Facebook and Instagram. And I got a big show coming up I would love to tell you about on May 14th. We'll be over at the Old Rock House from 3 to 7 p.m. for the 3rd Debstock. This is a benefit show I put on in my mother's memory. I lost my mother to brain cancer, glioblastoma, in 2019, and been putting the show together since and having a lot of fun raising funding and awareness for brain cancer patients, and would love to have you out there with us. Bring mom out and let's have a good time over at Old Rock House, May 14th. That is Mother's Day. Again, 3 to 7 p.m. Music and entertainment from Russo and Company, Emily Wallace, Ryan Cheney, and comedy from Meredith Hopping. Tickets are available right now at etix.com. You can find more info at rockpaperpodcast.com or oldrockhouse.com. And, or feel free to message me and I'll drop a ticket in the mail for you. If you need anything else from me, you can always find me at rockpaperpodcast.com. Hit me up on the socials. Email me, rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you all. And with that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode with Chris Zumwalt.
Podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hi, this is Chris Zumwalt. You're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
Double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Chris Zumwalt. Welcome
How's
to the show.
everybody doing?
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here with you. I don't know. I guess we've been friendly for a little while now online.
Yeah, we've known each other.
we kind of talked about it the other day. We realized that we had been in contact prior.
Yeah.
We'd actually message each other about some work, and then then we end up connecting through music. So it was just kind of a funny, small town kind of thing.
I think we kind of spider webs together.
Right. But
sure.
We're just like, hey, wait a second. We've already talked.
I remember talking to you. What was this about?
All right.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. So then we linked up through music not too long ago, and we've been talking a little bit online, but now it's official. We get to sit down and talk about your story on the show. And
I appreciate you having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I don't really know a ton about Chris Zumwalt, so that's what's fun about doing this show.
You guys can find me. Anybody can find me at Chris Zumwalt Music, social media. That's kind of the tagline at the end of everything. So if you're on Facebook / Chris Zumwalt Music or whatever. But basically, I've been playing music for, since I was like 12. I'm going to be 40 in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
March 9th. So, so anyway, things, I've always just kind of played cover bands and done this and done that. Never really pursued music. Always kind of had a passion for it and all that, but never really felt like I was able to just, move off somewhere and pursue some career with it or anything like that.
What kind of cover stuff?
Cover stuff, I did all kinds of country, rock through the years. I actually had a little 3-piece blues rock kind of Steve Ray Vaughan-ish kind of rock band for a good while there. I played all over the place with country bands and stuff. There was one band we went and played Chicago, Georgia, Nashville, a few other places, nothing crazy, nothing, big acts or nothing like that, but fun stuff. Just out there doing our thing. But so then fast forward up to like COVID when all that went down. I had a construction company prior to that. And when things kind of shut down with everything, I realized how bad my back had gotten from sitting around and not moving anymore. And so I ended up having to have surgery and this and that. And after I got done with that, I don't know, I just felt like I had a second chance at life almost because I was so just in a pain state of numbness and body throbs and stuff like that from the disc damage that I had. And so I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to play guitar again or anything else for a good while there. And then, I got the surgery, everything kind of moved through and finally went through. And then, so I was like, when everything came back around, I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump out there and I'm just going to do this. And so I started looking through that process though, I had, didn't want to do opiates and all that. So I got into cannabis. And so I started looking around and seeing all these cannabis events. And as I was picking the guitar back up and doing my thing, I started, I'm like, well, I'm going to try to get out here and do some of these events. And next thing I know, I did. And people were starting to follow me and all this stuff, and pushing me to say, hey, you do covers great. You're an awesome musician, whatever. But we want to hear you. Where's your music at? Where's this at? And so I had all these sitting around, like the song that I had just released, which is everywhere you can find music, called Run. I wrote that probably 15 years ago. And it was funny because at the time I didn't really drink, and hadn't done any kind of, super drugs or anything like that. And I did do some of that stuff later on, but it was, more due to just trying to get rid of the pain, than it was just trying to find some, like some people chase drugs because they find a hole or whatever, something like that. It was more about the pain for me, getting rid of that. So, but anyway, so the song is very deep. It's something that I'm, passionate about. I've actually been on the radio station, a couple radio stations and stuff. And so the first radio station that I got right after I recorded it, interview, I came out of the interview and there's a lady in the parking lot and she was telling me how the song touched her and she wanted my autograph and she was going through recovery and all these different things. So it was just kind of one of those reassuring things, like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing finally, right. You know what I mean? So, so it's just been a nice, journey as far as, and on one hand, you're kind of like, man, I wish I would have done this sooner. But on the other hand, would it have worked? Is the timing right? Was it, things happen for a reason. So I feel like I'm just finally, I've been patiently waiting and pushing to be where I want to be with music and everything. And everything's just finally coming together. So it's been interesting for sure. So,
well, you, what was like the early stuff there? Like you talking about,
as far as
playing guitar and stuff, was that like, is this something you just picked up on your own, or?
So our family didn't really have a whole lot of music. People as far as like cousins and uncles and stuff like that, or anybody. My dad didn't play. Nobody else around us played. We grew up pretty poor, so I didn't get lessons or anything like that. I was all self-taught. We would actually go to the grocery store, and while mom and dad was, shopping for groceries, we'd be in the magazine aisle writing down tabs out of Guitar World or whatever we could, and we'd take our notebooks in and write everything down and just try to, me and my older brother. And so it started out with him. He got a guitar at like 11 or 12, something like that. And he played it for about a month straight and then just kind of set it to the side and hit that age where he started hanging out with friends and this and that, more out and about. And so I just pick up his guitar when he went home, and start working on it. And next thing you know, I ended up with a bass guitar a little bit later and played bass for a while. And then I played guitar, and then we grew up a little bit in church and this and that, and so I played on a worship team, and that's probably where I got my most experience from, as far as just learning timing and learning, those things like that. So, because we didn't always have a drummer, so sometimes it was keyboard drums. So the keyboard drums don't lie. You either find that time and stay with it, or become that robot, or you're going to fall short. So so my timing and stuff like that is come from that kind of stuff. So, but over the years, it just I started doing open mic nights. I always wanted to do, music, and I always envisioned, even as a little kid, somewhere my grandma's got a tape of me saying, "Grandma, I hear music all the time," so I definitely knew I was going to do something in music eventually, and always pushed to do something with it. But, plan B sometimes always ends up, you got to make a living, you got to eat, you got to feed kids, all that good stuff. So,
so you say, Run.
Yep.
You wrote like 15 years ago, and
maybe more than that. It's hard to remember exactly when, but
this song just like what in a notebook sat there for this long, or have you been playing it out for quite a while?
No, my friends and family, mostly family, were the only people that ever really heard it until I got to the point where, because I just always felt St. Louis wasn't very receptive for originals, and I didn't want to fight that fight as far as trying to. You know what I mean? So, but in the last like 10 years, it seems like St. Louis has changed a little bit as far as the music scene goes. And maybe it was there. I just didn't know it was there.
I think there's, I think there's truth to all, but I think there's like pockets that of St. Louis that originals are very appreciated.
Yeah.
And then, but
but it's not like Nashville or California or somewhere where you could, play pretty much.
In St. Charles County, it's pretty much your cover band scene, like you're talking about.
Right.
That's what people love seeing. It's like that's what it is at the bars every weekend and stuff. But
we're a huge radio town. KC, all these guys like that. You know what I mean? So, like for instance, my dad, he loves to party and have fun and all that, and so he would come home from work after a long week or whatever, have some beers and sing songs he knew. You know what I mean? People don't want to take the time to around here. It just seemed like there was that stigma. So whether it was really there or whether I just let that mold me as I was younger and just didn't really open my eyes enough to see what was there. You know what I mean? Regardless, we're here now, and this is so. I hope that St. Louis becomes eventually a situation where they can, open up to more originals and appreciate artists that are here. Because there are a lot of great, phenomenal artists around the area that are just, for one, a lot of them are super humble, so you don't even know who they are. It's just crazy like that. So it's
one thing I like doing this show. I've been able to become friends with a lot of them, greats from our town, but it is kind of crazy how many that you maybe unaware that are professional musicians, do this as a career, and go around the world even playing music, and but they're just your regular, that's my neighbor, it's like, but
exactly. There's actually a few where I'm from that are like that. They've played on stages with Joe Diffie and different people like that, and it's like and they walk around just drinking coffee like us. Sure. So you
what do you when you're writing Run, like, I mean, what do you take me back to, like, what do you recall, like, when you originally wrote this song? Like,
so there were a lot of things going around me at the time. Our county was being taken over at the time by hard drugs and different things like that, and you watch friends and family fall to them. You watch a bunch of different things go on around you, and I woke up this morning and I grabbed myself a beer. Last night's still bleeding into my atmosphere. Took a toke of smoke to make them clouds appear. Oh, make my demon run. Oh, make my demons disappear. Give me strings that not in fear. Oh, make my demons run from here. Took a drive to clear my head, feel like headlights in a deer. Stopped to fill her up and grab some scratchers and beer. Sometimes it feels like maybe the end is near. Oh, make my demon run. Oh, make my demons disappear. Give me strings that not in fear. Oh, make my demons run from here. I woke up this morning, ate my breakfast from a mirror, just to numb the pain, but of course I still shed a tear. Sting still rings through even after all these years. Oh, make my demon run. Oh, make my demons disappear. Give me strings that not in fear. Oh, make my demons run from it. I don't know. I always felt like if I was going to do music, it had to be music that had a purpose. It had to be music that grabbed a hold of you and said, "Hey, you're this, it's almost like your subconscious is reaching through you through the song." You know what I'm saying? So I wanted something like that where it's positive energy where, like the other song that we recorded, Get Up Child. That song is more about if I was laying in bed depressed, which has happened several times in my life. I've suffered from PTSD and anxiety and several other things. So if I'm ever laying in bed depressed, I would want that song to play and tell me, "Hey, get up." You know what I mean? So it's, when you guys hear it, you'll understand what I'm saying. But it's, so in parentheses on the name when I release that one, it's going to actually be depression. And so I'm gearing that one toward just trying to help people that, otherwise would be laying there and maybe it won't get them out of bed, but at least we tried.
All right.
So we'll see what happens. So that's, I want to make a difference no matter what, somehow, and that's the only way I know how is music, so.
Yeah. Well, we let's talk about Run a little bit. This is, so this is your debut, right?
Single,
as a single,
as an artist.
As putting yourself out there as an artist now, and we got Run is available on all your digital platforms wherever you're getting music at, and under Christopher Zumwalt, right?
chriszumwaltmusic.herenow.com will put you to every link that you can find, all my social media sites, all that stuff. And most social media, like I mentioned before, is like the Instagram handle at Chris Zumwalt Music or / Chris Zumwalt Music behind the social media website.
Right.
So,
and then you was this like always it's pretty stripped down, I would say, kind of folk acoustic kind of thing to it, the song? Is this kind of always the vision when you were sitting there writing it all these years ago, that this is how it was going to sound? Or
so honestly, it actually came out better for being so simple than I imagined. And the simple thing was more of this side of having the resources to, because a full production is crazy. You've got to have the musicians around and have them have the time to meet everybody. It's a lot of work to put together. So I figured for this first one, I would just try to keep it simple, do something different that nobody really else is doing. And honestly, from what I had envisioned before I went to the studio and all that, and worked with Chris Turnbaugh down at Sawhorse Studios, which by the way was phenomenal.
Yeah, Chris is he's a bad dude.
Steve, bass player for the Steve Ewing band. He's awesome dude. Was phenomenal to work with, like I said. But anyway, when it came out, and he pushed me on a couple things on like the background vocals, the harmonies and stuff like that to help get it pull that out of me, because that was the only one thing. Like, I had prepared for everything else. I had all the guitar tracks down, I had all the vocals down except for the background vocals. I didn't even thought about it. And he's like, "Well, what do you want to do with that?" And so I just kind of picked his brain a little bit for a second. We went back and forth, and then I took like, I don't know, a few takes or 7 takes, something like that, to try to get it nailed down, because I hadn't really worked on it. So, but the way it came out, the way it was just far and above and beyond what I imagined. You know what I mean? Like, I went out to the car after he emailed it to me, and I was driving home from the studio, and I played it, and it just instantly was like, I don't know, the feeling was just, there's nothing like it, I guess, and I knew it was going to be something that actually did something, made a difference, and so far it has just snowballed on its own. Like, I haven't put a lot of money behind it or nothing like that, not that I have any to do that with, but it's just been really, pushing itself, and people have really grabbed a hold of it and ran with it. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's especially as a debut, putting yourself out there. It's
nerve wracking.
Yeah, you have to be incredibly vulnerable type of position, like where you're like, hey, here's.
Honestly, that's probably part of another reason why it took me so long to do it is because I don't know. It took a long time to get to the point where it was like, what if people do hate it? Oh, well.
Right, sure.
So,
but, yeah, it's nice that you are getting the response you've already got, and it's already, and it's growing, and it's cool to see that people are responding the way they are, man. So
I'm excited about it. And then so back on the cannabis thing, I do have at Zoom's Garden on social media and stuff like that. So basically, I just blog, my grows for my medical grows as far as that goes, and nothing for sale or trade, nothing like that. It's all blog and just for people who are curious about that that world and how that works and stuff like that, and things like that. So because of that, we had to back where we were before, when I had come out of surgery and gotten healed back up and seen that there was cannabis stuff going around. I went around and played a bunch of different events last year to get my foot in the door. And so this year, coming up March 4th, we have at the Regalia at Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri Cannabis Festival put on by the Schwag and Jimmy T and all them guys. So that's going to be, I'll be playing there in the afternoon. Starts at noon, runs at 9. It's a free event. There's going to be lots of vendors and lots of stuff going on for the cannabis community, and it's going to be a great time. And then March 18th, we are doing Irish Fest out in Kansas City. I'm going to be playing on a float in the parade for St. Patty's Day out there, and then we're doing a big event, which all this information is on the Facebook page for events and stuff like that. So easy to find for those of you listening. So
yeah,
it should all be a fun time.
Yeah, and then along with those, you keep pretty busy around town playing.
Yes,
quite a few
so
different.
I play different venues like Honky Tonk St. Charles, and then whatever else we can fill in the gaps with, and just keep busy. After COVID, the construction company that I had, pretty much had slowed down to the point where we just couldn't sustain anymore, lumber prices, all that stuff. So music is pretty much where I'm at now.
So this is a
full-time gig.
Full-time now, right?
Yeah. With my back the way it is, I don't want to get back into construction and abuse my body anymore. Because I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm numb like that again.
Yeah.
It is probably the most miserable way of life there is, at least that I've experienced. So definitely don't want to beat my body back up. And, at this rate, it's just, we're going with it. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Get to finally chase my dream and do my thing. So, my cost of living, as far as my footprint goes, me and my family is pretty low, so we don't have to, take a lot to maintain. We've gotten into gardening and different things around the house to save money, because as we all know, inflation's gone crazy.
Right.
But not to bring any of that up, but the moral of the story is you can do anything in life if you pay attention to what you got going on, and even if it takes one little thing, work toward pushing toward your goals. Each step is going to get you where you want to be, and eventually you'll be there.
Sure.
You got to mold your way that way, and there's always a way. You just got to find it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I've been. I don't know. I say it a lot. Like, I feel like it's kind of nice where I'm at now with my professional career and the business music side of things I like to do. I'm able to balance both sides pretty well.
Right.
But I do envision a time where I can kind of make the jump and make music more of a
just do the podcast full time.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a podcast. I think the podcast is a lot of fun and I enjoy doing it, but I don't know that that's going to be the career move.
The only thing.
But I would like. I think I fantasize a lot about like owning my own venue and putting on
doing
concerts and stuff like that, doing that'd
be awesome.
So I think about it a lot, and I'm like.
So my dad's got 22 acres, and it's got a big old hill on it. And I was actually thinking about if I ever get famous and actually make some money or whatever, I would love to turn that a certain spot out there into basically like a Red Rocks.
Oh yeah,
because it's just like a 3-to-1 climb for like 600 feet, and if you just built in bench seats everywhere and then built a stage, it would just the sound would naturally go up like Red Rocks. So and everything out there is real rocky anyway. So it would be a cool venue. If it was ever able to come to
that's a
play.
bucket list thing for me right there by making it to Red Rocks. And,
right. I would love to go out there.
I see all the pictures and video, and I'm like, man, I got to get out there one of these days. And I tell
you who I would love to see there is Chris Stapleton.
Yeah,
because I saw him in St. Louis, and the guy starts out his concert and never stops singing until the end of the concert. Like even in between songs, he's just doing some kind of like vocal warm up thing, and it's just like beautiful. And I don't know.
Yeah, he's
that is a powerhouse.
Sure. He's a talented dude for sure.
Yeah, he is.
I've got to see him a few different times now, and big fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was one I really like. Kick myself that I didn't, jump and take the chance and go out and make, pull the trigger and jump on the tickets and go. And but it was JJ Gray and Mofro, and Michael Franti with Spearhead. Both of them were together out there. Two of my favorites, individually, and then they split a bill out at Red Rocks, and I was like. Man, that would have been such a fun night. Just both of those got bands, and
it's
then
funny how that happens, though.
And then Michael Franti did like a yoga class on the rocks that morning.
Oh, nice.
And I was just like, I don't do yoga, but I would do yoga with Michael Franti. It would be a cool experience.
Well, but it also like the weather's always pretty decent out there, so the rocks are nice and warm. Your blood, you know what I mean? That'd be a good place to like think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just one with nature.
All right. But he's
cool.
The way you kind of talked about your music, wanting to make an impact. I feel like I don't know how much you get into Michael Franti, but like that's how I like his music moves me in that way. Like it's such a positive experience.
I've heard some of his songs. I haven't really dived into him, but I will definitely.
But it just makes you feel good. He's kind of like I don't know.
I enjoy that vibe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I look at him like almost like a modern day Bob Marley type of like he's very
reggae-ish.
A lot of there's
Sublime.
There's a reggae pop kind of thing. But the way he just like it's all about peace and love kind of thing. It's all
that stuff.
And
heck yeah.
So it just makes me feel good, and he's just fun to listen to. But
it's music's supposed to bring out emotion. That's where it was. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Like for instance, the Get Up Child. I wrote that probably 3 weeks ago. I was actually putting my guitar on to practice for a show I had coming up. I don't even remember which show it was now. And I hit this chord, and then I hit another chord, and then it just came out. And like within 30 minutes, I had this whole song written, and it just flowed. Like that was probably the easiest song I've ever written in my life.
Yeah.
Just boom, boom, boom. And get up, child, we're gonna rise up. Sun is shining on your face. Get up, child. Get that blood flowing, just like them river waters do. Get up, child. Yeah, we gotta rise up. Many things to do today. Ain't gonna let her tell us what to do. Ain't gonna let her tell us what to do. I'm just gonna push right on through. Get up, child. Gonna rise up. Gotta take that first step. Get up, child. Get your shoes on. Find your place in this world. Get up, child. Yeah, we gotta rise up. Know how much time is left. I ain't gonna let her tell her what to do. I ain't gonna let her tell her what to do. Just gonna push right on through. Get up, child. Gonna rise up. Always look for the bright side. Get up, child. Get your hands up. Wave them around in the air. Get up, child. Yeah, we gotta rise up. Gonna win by a landslide. Sometimes it feels like I'm going nowhere. Sometimes feel like one step forward is 2 steps back. I ain't gonna let her tell her what to do. I ain't gonna let her tell her what to do. Just gonna pull right on through. Get up, child. Gonna rise up. Sun is shining on your face. I went back and made a couple tweaks on it afterwards, and then and then I sent it over to Chris, which he's busy right now in sessions. He's I don't know what he's working on, but it's got to be big because he ain't getting back with me. So, but he hits me up and goes, "Well, Zach, I've been in a 12-hour session. I'll get with you here soon." You know? All right. But anyway, so they. So I'm waiting to get that one in there. I'm excited about it. I want to get it released sometime. I was planning on trying to get it done by the end of February, but we'll see how that plays out. If not, maybe March. Yeah. You know. So, but I plan to try to do, these simple sessions, so to speak, or like acoustic, breakdowns of all the different songs that I've written over the years. Every month or so as I can over the next year. And then what I'm going to end up doing is once I get them all released like that, then I'll probably come back and throw them all in one album and actually do full band versions. Okay. Kind of like Tyler Childers did the new album with, he's got the Hallelujah versions, the Jubilee versions. Yeah. And so they're all just a little bit different. They're either jazz kind of influenced or different like that. So kind of like that where it'll be more like an acoustic, unplugged singles, and then everything turned back into a full band version later on. So some of that is so that it can basically power itself. I don't have to find funds to feed it, you know what I mean? So things like that. So I try to stay business minded with it all at the same time and let it build itself so that I'm not drowning. So we'll see how it works out.
Well, and I think that's good to have both the variety of like that too, because I feel like a lot of people put out these like full band versions, and they're great and I love it, but like you and a lot of people play solo acoustic a lot of times. Right. So what you're selling, it doesn't necessarily represent what you are always doing.
Exactly.
So it's nice to have.
Well, and there's like Nashville has all these different studio programs where you can send a basic, simple song idea down there, and they put 7 different Nashville guys on it and send you back a cut. Yeah. It's not really your thing, you know what I mean? And so, like you said, if I went and played that live and I played it acoustic, people are going to go, "What's that?" Yeah. You know what I mean? So I wanted something I could easily represent. Sure. I could easily, until I get there, because I haven't found the guys I want to, bring into that Well, I hadn't when I wrote Run. Now I have. I'm working on that. But we are going to have a full band coming up, and we're going to start booking more duo and band stuff. And I'll basically release that information of who that is and how that's going to go, as time unfolds here. But I'm super excited about that project, actually. So that's a good reminder there. But so that's going to be a lot of fun. The lead guitar player that I've got coming up is phenomenal, like one of the best I've ever heard or played with. And all the guys that the bass player and the drummer have been with this guy for a long time, so they're basically tight and easy. So it should be an easy transition, smooth right in. He's going to look to me, they're going to look to him, and until we all get super comfortable and all that. So it should be a nice smooth transition and just work out really well. I'm excited about that. So
yeah, that'll be
cool. On the lookout. So.
Sure. I mean, like I was saying, it'd be nice to offer as a player, you can do your solo gigs, but then you can also be like, hey, let's build up a band for this one.
Duo. We can do a band. We can, so we've got, and then we'll probably end up eventually doing a trio option as well. Once we get everybody fully on board and locked in, then we'll probably do, with the trios, we'll probably do like the smaller venues that want more of a band sound, but don't have the room for a full band, maybe. Stuff like that. So it's always good to have options.
Yeah, definitely. And then
especially booking gigs,
especially coming up for summer, having like the wineries and all the other things, like having options. We can play, outside and get loud, or we can play inside and so
quiet down and have a nice, intimate feel.
Yeah.
And we're good at that stuff. I read the crowd very well. I've got a pretty good repertoire of songs. I can change my set list on the fly. Like if I have a certain set list in mind for a certain venue, and then I get there and the crowd's totally different than normal, like it's a full moon or something, then okay, well, pull these songs over here and we're just going to play this today, So you play some songs, you feel out the crowd, and once you know kind of where they're at, then you can kind of tailor your list from there. So I'm really good at that.
What do you have one when you're doing the covers that you notice
everybody goes nuts
that you get the pop for?
So for instance, like the other night I was playing at Honky Tonk, and one of the guys that was coming up after me was over talking to my wife, and he's like, man, when I walked in, I thought it was Chris Stapleton up there. So I get that a lot. I do his songs really well. I do Tyler Childers really well, but I also have that like rock voice where I can do like Joe Cocker or Come Together from the Beatles. I do that one, kind of a mix of Joe Cocker and the Beatles. I like to blend things together. Like if it's Jimi Hendrix did a version of it and Stevie Ray Vaughan did a version of it, I might do it both, you know what I mean? And then throw my own taste in there. I'm kind of like Frank Zappa when it comes to, I've got a time, I know what I want to do, or I don't know what I want to do, but I know about how much time I have to fill that space. And so I have a basic, mechanical knowledge of the guitar, and I'm going to put whatever I feel in that moment needed to be there. You know what I mean? It just flows out of me. So maybe I played something that the person that was there needed to hear. You know what I mean? Stuff. It's more to that. It's more like, because that brings back the music to it instead of being, okay, the record exec said he wanted it like this, so it'll play on the radio. You know what I mean? Like even the older artist like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, all them guys, if you listen to their record and then listen to the live show, it's not the same.
Right.
They put, you know what I mean? Like they put their own flair on it. They put their own, how they feel about it. And that's what music's supposed to be. It's supposed to have a passion to it. It's supposed to have, a different interpretation of it. And what I put out, you might interpret one way, another guy might interpret a different way. And you know what I mean? And then if you went and covered the same song, 10 other people are going to interpret it a different way because it came from you, not, you know what I mean? So it's just, music is one of those universal languages that it doesn't even matter if you speak English. If the song's good, it's going to touch you somehow.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So to me, I've never been one of the guys that's like, I have to play note for note. I have to do this exactly, but I also never wanted to be a tribute band, so that's kind of, if you're a tribute band, I guess that's your lane. You know what I mean? For me, I never really wanted to be that, or never really saw that. I guess I have a different vision than other people. So, which is fine. That's what makes the world go round, right?
Yeah, man.
So
it's got to have some, you got to play with that feel, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's, to me, it's an art, and, you know, the air is your canvas, and, you know, you put your art on it and hope it hits the ears right.
Right.
So that's pretty much what it boils down to.
Yeah. Well, get plugged in with Chris on your again on your Facebook and Instagram. You can find Run on all your streaming platforms today, and keep an eye out for studio version of Get Up Child.
Yep,
Hopefully,
some more coming up soon behind that. So I'm excited. It'll be good.
You ever think about like shooting a video for Run or?
So I did a basic, simple YouTube video for it on. Or we shot it at the Honky Tonk, which was basically the first venue I had played after the release in it, and so I kind of had like a little release party, and so I just basically threw on my Facebook page, hey, if you guys want to be in the music video, come to the gig, and just gave fans and people that have been supporting me for a while a chance to come be in the video, and so we had a pretty good little turnout with that. And so we just kind of shot the video there and did that, but I probably will actually release an actual, you know, legit music video down the road. It's just a matter of finding the time to put that production together.
Yeah.
So it takes quite a bit of time and also investment. So
yeah, I think that would could be cool, man, to do something like that. Especially, I think it lends itself to to, you know, be portrayed that way. So
yeah. Well, the video side of it, you know, brings up a different type of professionalism as far as an artist. But there's also a lot of people, for instance, I can't think of his name, that Les Paul. Mm-hmm. He one time did an experiment and apparently took a 4x4 post and made a guitar, and he got these crazy sounds out of it, and it was cool, and he went and just had a blast when he was playing, and the people that were at the gig, you know, didn't really notice nothing different, didn't even really pay attention or comment or nothing like that. And so he took the same thing home and went back to the next gig, but when he went home, he cut this big old like S-hole Epiphone big body thing and cut it in half and like stuck it to both sides of the 4x4. And he went back to the gig and he played it, and all of a sudden now everybody is like, oh my God, that sound is awesome and unique, and what did you do, and all this stuff. And what he came to the conclusion is people hear with their eyes. All right. So videos, I think, are definitely an important role. You know, we grew up on MTV and VH1. Of course, now that's really the same as it was then, but it'd be nice if they ever brought something back.
Right.
But you know, for our generation, especially the visualizations and things of that nature help bring the story together. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely something I want to do. I will release a little Easter egg here. I can't tell you who yet, but I am going to re-release Run with a collaboration remix version. The second verse is going to have another artist on there, so I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a big deal. But I don't want to spoil the, you know, don't want to count the eggs before they hatch or nothing like that. So,
right. Is that something like summer or what?
So I'm hoping to have that done. And so I'll probably release Get Up Child and that one somewhere around the same time. So it may be April. It just depends on the schedule of the other artist. And I've already done my part and sent him over the track as far as for him to cut his vocals and send them back for Chris to master. So we're just waiting on, you know, but he's got a few shows that he's had come up in the last couple of weeks and some other things. So I'm sure it won't be too much longer and we'll get that going. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. I like that kind of stuff. I mean, like,
yeah, it helps out.
You know, different alternate takes or B-sides and remixes.
So how this worked out was I was playing a show and I opened up for some people last year, and the collab artist that we're going to be working on, he actually came up on stage while I was playing and grabbed an extra mic or whatever and started singing some harmonies with me or whatever because he liked the song or whatever and liked my performance. And so he gets down and goes off to the side, and I come down over there, and he's like, come talk to me when you're done. And so I went over there and talked to him, and he's like, we're going to do a collab. I want to do a collab with you and this and that. And so I, you know, we stayed in contact or whatever after the show, and I don't know, a couple months or whatever went by. And I hit him up and was like, hey, you still want to do the collab or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I've been busy or whatever. And we were talking about this and that. And he was like, well, you got one of those voices. I want to find the song that's you, you know? So I was like, well, what about, I've got some songs. And I sent him a couple different songs and he hit back on Ron. He's like, that's the one. So we're going to do that. I'm excited about that. And then I think, you know, we'll still end up doing, I'll do some collabs on his stuff, you know, and stuff like that. So, should be a lot of big fun stuff coming up. It's fun. As far as big stuff, another one I forgot to mention, in July in Noster, Missouri, Nasty Glass and Grow is going to be holding a huge cannabis festival that has Uncle Stoner, Bobby West, and Squash Offs, and then we're going to have Loonies, the song I Got 5 on it. They're going to open up the show. And then I play somewhere in the middle after a couple other people. And then Outlaw Nation, Jesse Howard Music, New Breed, Hitman, None Real. There's a bunch of them, and they're going to be actually playing the headline for that show, and that's July 8th, and it's going to be a big party. You guys don't want to miss that one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it sounds like a party for sure.
Yeah.
That I Got 5 on it, man. That's like.
Yeah, iconic, right?
Yeah, that's one of those that just like that beat and
right.
verse. Like, I mean,
that's definitely one of my favorite hip hop songs from back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, because like music, I'm pretty wide open. A lot of people think I'm just this country guy, and I get that because over the last 15 years, I played in a lot of country bands and stuff like that, and it was more just what was hiring at the time, and I was a lead guitar player. You know what I mean? So it was like it worked out. But I've always been more of a rock guy. But as far as music goes, I'm all over the map. I love all music. If it has a good beat, if it's a hit, it's a hit. You know what I mean? It's if the person has talent. Then it is what it is. You know, I can respect and appreciate all of that. I'm not a style queen where if I like heavy metal, I can't listen to this, or if I like this, I can't listen to that. No, open up your eyes. So you might learn something. You know. Sure,
I do. I mean, I'm all over the place with my music too, but sometimes like I like to, you know, I have my own personal favorites, but then like there would be something on the radio, or especially like I'll locally, you know, like something like the pageant or whatever. Somebody will come to the pageant and I've never heard of, and then they'll sell it out, and I'm like, man, like who is
that? Why are they selling out?
How are they selling out this theater that I have no idea who they are?
Right.
Like, so I look and I go to try to do some homework and try to figure it out. Like, what are they doing? And then like maybe, you know, I was like, well, I'll listen to this hit song and I'll try to understand like what is it about this particular song that makes it a hit? Why, you know,
where's the hook? What's going on here?
Some people like just, you know, have a good way of like developing their own fan, like whether it's, you know, through TikTok or YouTube now, people find their audience and then like they support them, whatever they do. And it's like,
well, that's like the Outlaw Nation guys. They built their stuff up on YouTube. Right. I mean, they've got those guys weren't signed. They did all that stuff by hand, you know, the old fashioned way, basically, as far as pushing through and just, you know, playing shows and doing their thing. And to my knowledge anyway. And so that, you know, they pushed all that through, and I mean, their biggest video just hit 100 million views. Like, to not have somebody behind you, to not have money behind you, like real money, to hit that many views on YouTube, you're doing something.
Right.
Like, and people are paying attention. They're noticing, you know, these guys are doing big stuff. So
yeah,
I'm happy to be part of that bill for sure. So
yeah. Well, that's July 8th.
Yeah, July 8th. Yep.
So
out in Noster, Missouri, over by the Kansas City side.
And if it's
like St. Charles to St. Louis as far as, you know, distance.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I got a couple questions for you, Chris. Sure. Get your take on some of these. What about, say the day comes along, we get some Chris Zumwalt action figures. What would you like to see as like maybe your three accessories with your action figure?
With my action figure, are we talking bobblehead?
It can be whatever you want it to be. If you had your own.
Talking like an actual little like G.I. Joe type.
Yeah, if you had something like
G.I. Joe.
that.
Okay, so G.I. Joe, we got to have a guitar in there.
Yeah. What kind of guitar? What's like? What's your signature guitar?
Let's see. So I like Martins, I like Taylors, but it depends on the situation. Taylors I like just more sitting around unplugged, stuff like that. But when I'm plugged in and playing a big show, I like the Martin. As far as electric goes, more of a Fender type style, which I've Steve Picaro, Picaro's Custom Guitar Shop up in Troy, Missouri. He builds custom Fenders, Telecasters, Stratocasters, all that. So all my electrics, most of them are done by him. Look him up, great guy. Yeah, does the Steve Ray Vaughan pageant tribute.
We did a podcast in his shop.
Yeah,
that's where I met Joshua and Dead
Joshua
Format.
Braden.
Yeah,
Dead Format.
Yeah,
that's funny you mentioned them.
We hung out. We hung out there in the shop and recorded one and did a little live session.
So, being you know Josh, I'll just go ahead and let you know that's who my lead guitar player is.
I figured that might be the case since I saw you guys doing a couple duo gigs.
Yeah. I forgot about that. I did release that. So yeah. That's where he came from.
He's also incredibly talented.
Oh my God,
guitar player. So I figured
graduating Berkeley, like the kid is just
right.
I wish I could have been half as good as he is. He's gonna hear this too. No, but no, he's phenomenal. And honestly, as good of a guitar player as he is, he's a better person.
Yeah,
like the kid is just there for anybody who he can be for. He's loyal. He's, I couldn't say enough good stuff about him.
Yeah.
And even before he became, involved in my stuff, I've always had a good appreciation and because there's not too many 19-year-old, or younger. Now he's 23, but back when I first met him, he was young. He might have been even 15, 16 back then, that can play that good. I mean, that's something that you either have somebody around that can show you from a young age, or you're kind of halfway born with it. And I would like to believe he's probably halfway born with it because he's just too naturally, like, I give him a list of 20 songs in 4 hours. He's got it ready. Yeah. Like it would take me 3 weeks. Right. I don't know what happened, but he's got it. Yeah. So no, I'm proud to have him on board and the rest of the guys. It's gonna be a phenomenal year. Mm-hmm. We're gonna go out there and tear it up. So
all right. So we got guitar. Anything else?
Oh, so on the action figure, we got sidetracked. So we got the guitar. We'll have to have a mic stand. Yeah. Like that whole thing, and then we got to figure out something. I don't know. That's an interesting question. You put me on the spot. A guitar, a mic. Probably just those two, really. Honestly, that'd probably be. Like remember when we were kids and they had the little grapevine, the little grapes. You know what I'm talking about? And the one had the saxophone.
The raisins, yeah.
The raisins, yeah. I said grapes, but yeah, the raisins. So it'd be something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Just a little short, fat guy with a guitar and a mic.
Yeah, those are like. I still think like they do like the Temptations, right?
Yeah.
They sing those songs and, but yeah. All right. What about we kind of teased that you were working on a collaboration stuff, but is there a particular dream duet or collaboration? Is there
so if I had to pick like for a duet female artist, man, that's tough. There's so many good ones out there.
Yeah, I always think also like. Maybe even, could be cool to get like a rap verse or something.
Well, yeah,
do that kind
that would be cool too.
Something like that. Like there's all sorts of options. Or a league bring in a featured guitar player. Or
so like some cover stuff we do. We do mix ups and our mashups and do some like hip hop over top different things. Yeah. Man, that's a tough question. That's a good one though. I mean. Honestly, I'd be honored to play alongside Chris Stapleton in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. That was cool to see him with Stevie at the Grammys. That was neat.
Yeah, he's very cool. The national anthem he did at the Super Bowl, everybody's raving about that too.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Probably one of the better versions for sure.
Yeah,
not saying it's the best because that's a matter of opinion, but in my opinion, it probably is. But. Other than that, I mean, as far as guitar players go, obviously there's some that are passed away that I would love to play with, but that could never happen. So I don't know. Steve Vai was always a pretty good influence on me when I was younger, as far as playing virtuoso, musical, instrumental type stuff. Man, there's so many out there, so many great ones. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That stuff is just kind of fun things to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, say, we go to the concert and the band, you're like front row and the band pulls you up and wants you to join them on a song. What would you like to, what would be the band and what would be the song you think that you would, if you had that opportunity, what do you envision like?
So maybe Tyler Childers' Way of a Triune God, or like, because I like that old kind of stuff like that, or Chris Stapleton, one of the more down bluesy, like Them Stems or Might As Well Smoke or something, you know what I mean? Something along them lines, something that's got that old raspy kind of down to home, my style, something like that.
Yeah. So. Man. That, I know, shout out to Gus Page. I know he's been doing it some here, like locally around town. But Stapleton's Sometimes I Cry.
Oh yeah, or Sometimes I Cry or Cold. Yeah. Cold's a good one too.
But that Sometimes I Cry. I heard. I got to see Stapleton play it live at a little spot called Firebird. And when that Traveler record came out, and I mean, at the time, like he was like already on a rocket to the top, and I was just like,
which most people didn't realize he wrote 90% of the songs that you hear on the radio.
Oh yeah, he's all over.
Before he even got famous, but yeah.
But that record Traveler came out, and I was like, I knew it was all over. For that, like he was gonna blow
up. And he's just got one of them voices. Everybody likes him from every community, every demographic. Yeah. They all love him. He's got the country, old school country style, but he's got just enough raspy blues influence to bring in every crowd. It's amazing.
But I saw him sing that from like a couple feet away, and I was just like, I was moved, man. It's just power, like. Yeah, it's a powerful song.
Well, it's weird because like you got different style singers, and Chris is like me, where we sing with everything we have, even though he makes it look a lot easier than I do. But we sing with everything we have, and then you've got these other singers who are like they use the mic maybe, or they're pretty quiet. If you're standing next to them, you may not even hear them. Where me, if you put me in a 10x10 room, I'm going to run you out of it. You're going to feel the vibrations in your feet or something. I don't know. I've just always had one of those powerful voices.
Yeah,
and Chris Stapleton's definitely one of those as well.
For sure. Yeah, and Childers, he's one of those that like, for me, I didn't attach to right away.
It took a second. Yeah. He's got a unique voice, but once you realize,
I connected. I didn't like his voice. Kind of bothered me at first.
Yeah,
I just didn't see it right away. But then again, people kept talking. I'm like, maybe I need to like revisit
what's going on here.
And then I really got into his writing, and that's what made me a fan. Like, because his writing, he's I mean, really impressive for a young man, and be writing the stuff he was. I was like, so that's where I kind of I got hooked into it, like diving into his lyrics.
What's crazy about like you said, that the voice didn't hit you right off the bat. So there's different studies done about different things as far as so like out of 1,000 people, there's probably going to be 5 to 10 people that my voice frequencies or whatever don't hit the same.
Yeah.
And so they might think I'm really raspy or unclear or, this or that or that. And then the other, might actually, or that, would think it was, decent or whatever, or good, or liked it or whatever. And, hit the ears good. So, but it's like the same people that usually tend to have that issue. Like when the general populace goes, man, that guy can sing. And then there's that 500 out of 1 million people or whatever that are like, it just doesn't do it for me. Mm-hmm. They're usually the ones that are tone deaf. There's something not, you know what I mean? There's something not there that doesn't connect right. And so what should sound good doesn't sound good. What doesn't sound good usually does for them. So it's like I try to remember that type of stuff though, because like when you do get those people that are like, blah blah blah, or they're talk bad or negative or whatever, you can't let that stuff get to you, because
Sure.
you got to, you understand that for every 100, there's going to be 2 that don't like you. There's just something, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things, like I said. So frequencies hit everybody different. We all have different tones in our voices. We all have different expressions in how we talk. And you go down south and it's completely different, tongue. Up here, it's another one. They think we have an accent. We think they have an accent. It all goes all hand in hand. And all that boils down to, how our eardrums perceive something,
Right.
So it's all perception. It's all how it works. And that's why I think, there are so many great artists out there, and so a need for so many different artists is because you can't please everybody. Sure. You just can't. There's no way. So,
Yeah.
but
well, you again getting plugged in with Chris. Hopefully, we'll get some of those new tunes coming your way very soon.
Yeah.
But you so. I just kind of like thinking about the future wise, is like you mentioned, maybe recording a couple more singles and then putting it together.
Yeah.
And maybe as a collection, as an album. So is that kind of like the primary focus as an artist for the rest of this year? Or do you have some other goals in mind?
I think that's going to be, the primary focus. That and just, getting through all these big events that we've got coming up, and trying to land as many more of those as we can find, stuff like that. The other side of things is I want to put together a kind of like mini road bar tour type thing over the next, throughout like maybe the 6 states around us type thing.
Yeah.
And just do like little 2 to 3 day mini tours and go play a few places in Kansas, go play a few places in Texas, and just kind of do something like that.
Right.
Just to kind of hit the road and help get the word out there and help push the originals.
Yeah.
So.
You mentioning going to Kansas City for that fest. Are you going to try to get plugged in a couple other shows around there while you're in town? Or
so I'm actually playing. That's going to be a busy weekend. So unless I could find something for maybe Thursday night, which we'll see, you never know. Then I may. But so Friday night I'm playing a private event for the staff and vendors of the Irish Fest. So Saturday morning, then we'll do the float, and then Saturday we'll do the event. So that's going to be a pretty crammed in weekend. But you never know. I might find some little cafe or something to play Sunday too.
Yeah.
While I'm out there before we come home.
Yeah, I mean, even like find open mic or whatever.
Yeah.
Anything just to get.
There's
Hey,
always something.
Let me do this
In the area. Yeah, exactly.
But I'm with you, man. That's kind of that's the exciting part of right where you're at right now. Like just to, growing, trying to get as many people to hear it, as you can, and like
find as many avenues as we can take, and the sky's the limit as far as the rest of it,
Right.
So, no, it's been a heck of a journey. Excited to be here. Excited to see where I go from here. Excited to see what happens with the the full band and Josh and them guys. It's just going to be I think this year is going to be a good breakout year for us. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. I'm excited to watch see where this thing takes us, and hopefully you can come back on and debut some more new tunes.
Oh yeah, whenever you're ready to have us, and we got some more news to spread with all the
right.
rock paper scissors.
Yeah, yeah, man. Well, thank you, Chris, and I will. We'll be in touch, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, everybody. Well, bye, everyone.